Well, hey everyone, it's Lisa Kay here of Learn Biz the podcast. I am back today. Going to talk a little bit about this topic, which is getting in other people's business. Parenting is a job to be respected. And if you can't figure out from that title, what I'm talking about is a story that's been in the news recently about a young lady, 26 years old, in Walmart shopping with her naked kid. Yes, I know it's hard to believe, shocking. Um, we're talking about these issues because they are real issues and they have to be dealt with. When we talk about growing generations of healthy families and putting people in the best position so that they can enter the job market and make a go at this life, we want to give children a fair chance, right? So I'm just going to share this story with you. I'm going to do my best to do some share stuff, so be patient. And just take a look at this if you haven't already, and we're going to talk about it on the other side. Okay, so here we go. I think this is the story we want to share. All right, give me just a second to get this up and big enough so you can see it. Wow. Sorry, guys, about my skills here. We're working on them. So that's the article. That's where I want to be. I'm going to go back and pick this article up in a way that you can see it and take a listen. Okay, I know that can be a little bit tough just to deal with that. I mean, honestly, it's awful to watch. And I've heard this said, and I really do believe it, that women are generally considered the carriers of a culture. So, in terms of being raised in some type of decency and order, a lot of times that's left to the women to do that with the children, with the families, because that's who the babies have the first contact with are women. So I do believe that it's not sexist or anything like that to say that women are generally the carriers of the culture just because of that initial contact, and not that men are involved, but women have a lot to do with that initial bonding and raising and nurturing of children. And I personally, I don't know if you can, I can't even understand the relationship between this mother and child. It's devoid of anything that should be, right? There's no nurturing, there's no loving, there's no caring. To bring a child into a store basically naked with a diaper, and Lord knows what was in that diaper. Because I mean, this parent is just obviously surfacely, visually neglectful. So I think that's pretty obvious. And it's just appalling. But so, number one, parenting is a job to be respected. There is no doubt that if you are a parent and you're raising children, that is a real job, okay? Not to be discounted, not to be taken for granted. The job of parenting is real. And like I said, it is to be respected. However, if you slip up and you're in public and you're neglectful of your parenting responsibility, and folks see that in public, what do you guys think? Is it other people's jobs to get involved at that point? I mean, we're talking about a helpless baby. I say yes. I say yes. I mean, I do know of situations where people have just stepped over people on the street who appear to be beat up or banged up, or maybe saw someone getting beat up, and people just kind of like turn and go to the other way. Like, that's not my problem. But when it comes to a child, no, no, you're not going to find that people are going to turn away that easily. People are going to get involved. So let's take another look um, at this video and see if we can identify more of what's going on here. What? Okay, let's stop it right here for just a second. Okay, so she apparently Byram Darby is out of jail. The young lady, 26 years old, that basically thought it was cool to go out in damn near 0-degree weather with her baby, basically naked. I mean, who is she mad at? The world? Oh my! I mean, definitely this child. But if you have a problem with the child's, I don't care who you have a problem with. There is nothing in the world that this child could have done to warrant this type of treatment from this mother. So that's why I asked the question about people getting involved in other people's business, because did you see how these people reacted? Did you see people step up? The lady who worked at Walmart, who filmed this whole thing, she put that video out there virally, and she was fired. Now, I'm sure she's dealing with that, but her video, to my understanding, has gotten over 1 million plus views and it's gone viral. And I'm glad that she captured that, because parents like this definitely need to be exposed and dealt with, right? Um, but this young lady was fired, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but apparently there's a Walmart policy that this young lady violated. And I'm sure probably when she signed up to work with Walmart, she probably signed a whole bunch of papers and probably didn't even read through a lot of what she was signing. You know how that is. You're just signing a bunch of stuff, and you're supposed to go back and read it later. But she signed some policy of theirs that apparently they did not allow her to put that video out there without their permission or what have you. So that's one thing that's being dealt with, but I'm glad she exposed the situation. And the other thing that I really love is how people stepped up. Like, I really love that part, that people got involved and were just willing to help this poor, helpless child. Just amazing. Okay, let's see if we can stomach a little bit more of this video. I don't know if it's going to repeat or if there's something more to it, but let's check it out and see if there's any more to this. That might be the end of it. Let's see. Was that the end of it? I want to make this bigger.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't never in your life do that, baby. Don't give a damn who run out there that stove this. You better stop and put something on. Hello. Okay. He came in here without that jacket.
Well, I'm not gonna. Okay, that's a all right. So that's we don't have to actually show the video of the child. I think there was one video of his face and one without his face, and that's fine. We just the point is made. It's just an awful situation. So needless to say that this mother is going to be dealing with this situation in the court system, and rightfully so. My understanding from some of the other news accounts out there that there's another child involved, that she has another child at least, and that some family members have stepped up to assist. So that part is great. I tell you, it's awful when children go into the child welfare system. I say awful because my experience, having worked in the dependency court as an attorney, which is under the juvenile court division, where you're dealing with cases where parental rights are being terminated. There are attorneys in place that are filing these petitions to terminate parental rights and then to basically put these children into the foster care system and then put them up for adoption or for foster care placement until they can get adopted out. And then many of you probably already know that the older a child is, the less likely it is that that child will be adopted. And so usually you find a lot of children just kind of staying in the foster care system until they kind of age out, depending on the age. But I also found out by working in the system as an attorney, working for parents, trying to keep parents and children together and keep those bonds intact. I found out that children in general, they love a bad parent far more than they love a good foster parent. You know what I mean? Like, children, if they don't know anything else, they love their parents, even though the society can judge them and say that's bad parenting. But generally, children don't want to be broken up from their families and put into the foster care system. So it's very traumatic on children, number one. So it's always good when there's a situation where family members step up and take that child into their care while that particular parent deals with in this case, is going to be some criminal issues, and hopefully gets herself together. And whatever her anger issues is, obviously it's totally misplaced on a helpless child. So in this case, I totally say that when you're in public and you exhibit bad parenting, that it is totally okay when other people try to get involved and help a helpless child. I had to ask myself when I looked at that video, would you get involved, Lisa? Would you try to help? Would you do something? Would you say something? Yes, I would have. I definitely would have. And I love the lady that basically went and bought the clothes. I love that part. Just being proactive. Yeah, you can definitely stand there and videotape the situation, and put it on social media and, possibly go viral yourself. I don't know if that's really helping the situation except to expose the bad parents, which is kind of what I'm doing here. But also to talk about those folks that do something positive and try to help and get involved. I think that's the greatest thing. I mean, anytime we can evidence humanity in action, like it's a totally great thing in year 2024 of our Lord and Savior. It's really good to see humanity in action. And so that part makes me really happy. There are some awesome people running around Walmart shopping every day. And there are a lot of people that walk in that store that need help and all kind of things. I mean, we are the world. So it's all kind of people in this world, and we're going to deal with circumstances wherever we go. And I just say, whatever we can do, make the business of definitely helping children our business and helping our society to keep functioning and growing and developing in a great way. Ta-da! Okay, that's it. I just wanted to share that with you. It did break my heart, but I wanted to talk about it. I don't know exactly how you guys feel, if you would have been the type that would have gotten involved and helped this child out. Would you have said something to this mother? And the whole twerking thing absolutely had nothing to do. I mean, I don't even know why she went there. Why? Because it was a man that she had a little conflict with. And so she wanted to twerk it out in front of him. I don't know. But just totally, we need some help out here. We need some help. We need some culture. We need some boundaries. We need some boundaries that we won't break and cross when it comes to parenting and children. We need lists of do's and do nots, and we need to honor them. We need some help out here. So I would say, this is my last point, having worked in the courts dealing with dependency, I would say this. I remember when I worked in the courts at one point, before they would pull children out of homes, there used to be a thing called family preservation. And in family preservation, what they would do, they would send social workers actually into the home to find out what the issues were. So if there were issues like with drug use, or I don't know what, a lot of times marijuana was a big issue. And during that time, when I was working on a lot of the cases, if they had already taken your child and then you test dirty for marijuana, that would give them grounds to basically keep your children in the system until, and this was a particular county I worked in, until you basically could show a clean drug screen and that type of thing. And you stay clean for so long, you take your parenting classes, and then, visit with your children and stay on that schedule while you're working back toward reunification, is what it was called. And then once you jump through all these hurdles that really the system has set up for you to jump through in order to even get your children back once they've been taken, then basically you go to court and you petition the court to return your children to you. Sometimes that did happen, and sometimes it didn't. It was a tough thing. It was a really tough thing. I found a lot of times in those cases where, like say a mother might have an issue with one particular child, and she may have handled that child or hit that child or struck that child or did something to that child and left a mark. And that might have been the child that put her in the system. And what would happen is that because of this matrix that the social work system use in these dependency cases in order to make the decision to take all your children or not, these matrices would usually pull all of your children in to the whole equation, and then the state would be petitioning the courts not just to take the child that maybe had some functioning disability issues, and maybe you got into a little situation and left a mark on the child, so that child had a questionable situation, but then they would say all of the children are at risk. If one child is at risk to the court, these were the arguments, then all of these children must be at risk. And then based on that, the state would then take all the children and put all of them in some type of foster care or temporary placement. And that was devastating, because a lot of times it could have been a situation where a parent might have had a situation with one particular child, and all the children ended up in the system. So it's been this system has been tough, but it's definitely made for parents like the one we just saw in this video. Children's Services was definitely made for parents like that lady that we just saw. Oh yeah, because she has some serious issues. I don't know what her issues are, but again, they're misplaced. All right, finally, I'm going to say good night. What I will say in closing, that it is important that our families are raised in strong ways and in healthy ways. And the more we see evidence of unhealthy families, then we know generationally what we're producing. And so we have to, work hard as a community, not only obviously to support ourselves and to support those who are closest to us, but to do as much good as we can to touch others, because there's a lot of hurt and suffering and misplaced anger in this world. So I know your heart is probably as broken as mine just watching that video, but we will continue to monitor situations like that and talk about them, and look at ways we can help. That's all we can do. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And if you have any comments, don't forget to let us know. We're Learn Biz, the podcast, and we're airing on some different platforms, across some different platforms, but generally Learn Biz, this platform was put together by two attorneys, Sandy Boyce Ron and myself, to talk about a lot of the issues that we were having as entrepreneurs. And we thought, why not just talk about the issues we're having? It's not a secret that entrepreneurs have struggles out here, and we have highs and lows in business, and it's tough. And a lot of times you're working in your business and you're trying to take care of cases, and you got to have the balance and not only work in your business, but to work on your business and to advertise and handle your accounting. It's a lot, right? So we formed Learn Biz LLC for the purpose of having a platform to discuss issues that deal with entrepreneurs. So that's why we're here. We expanded some, and we bring in some other topics that are relevant. But ideally, we want to focus on growing and developing as entrepreneurs. And the reason why we can talk about almost every other issue is because we have to look at the developing generations that are coming into play in terms of the workforce, in terms of education, who's going to college, who's getting in the workforce, who's getting the decent paying jobs, who's getting jobs that basically aren't going to allow them to progress and grow. All of these things matter. So we have to deal with all the issues at hand and look at them. And to be honest with you, every time we see weaknesses within our communities, those are really opportunities, if you ask me. They're opportunities for people to say, there's a need. There's something that needs to be done here that can be done to fill this void, to provide a service, to help the community. 1,000,001 needs out here. We have to create opportunities from looking at all the need. And so when we talk about being entrepreneurs, that's how entrepreneurs are born. They look around, they see what's missing, what's needed, what can make people's lives better, and they work on that. And so that's why we bring in so many different topics, including legacy, dealing with how to create better legacies of wealth when it comes to acquiring real estate, transferring real estate and assets, and holding on to them and distributing them the way you want. We cover a myriad of topics. And so we thank you for joining us. Generally, we're broadcasting once a week officially under a little regrouping, but we're going to be coming on. We mainly have been coming on together, but we're going to come on separately sometimes and just talk about some topics and just put things out there to keep our minds thinking about issues and ways that we can build ourselves and progress ourselves and become better entrepreneurs and supporters of each other. All right. Have a wonderful evening. I'm Lisa Kay of Learn Biz Podcast. If you ever need to reach me, don't hesitate to get in contact with me. I can be reached at Lisa Crawford. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me give you the right email. Greetings at Lisa Crawford Sells Homes. You can reach me there for real estate. And if it's a legal matter, estate planning, or if you need help with probate, you can call my law office at 954-870-7600 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. You guys have a wonderful evening. Signing out. We'll talk with you soon. Good night.